Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and today for Game Week 9 we are doing another Asking 100 Experts videos where we ask for the transfer plans and captaincy choices of 100 expert FPL players, veterans, content creators, people who know what they're talking about, people who are very, very engaged FPL managers. We see what they're up to, we try and compare that to some of the more casual moves, and we kind of try and figure out actually, are we looking in the right way for our transfers? Are we looking in the right places for our captains? Let's kind of find out today. So yeah, thanks so much for everyone who is getting involved and watching these videos. It's really, really appreciated. If you don't mind liking the video, really appreciated, and obviously subscribing as well. We are aiming to get to 100,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. I can only do that with your help. So please do make sure you subscribe, guys. But let's have a look at the experts for this game week. So guys, these are the 100 very, very kind FPL experts who helped me out this week, who let me know their transfer plans. I do want to draw some attention to a couple of names. We have got Ryan Agalawata in there. You might recognise him as being the current #1 in the entire FPL game. He is currently first in FPL, so massively appreciated seeing what he's up to this week. Yeah, a couple others who have been really, really helping me out every single week. We've got kind of Dan Cross, the mod there, Dread FPL, FPL Audit in there, FPL Cyclist, some regular names there as well. So yeah, just thank you everyone who gets involved. If you want to get involved, you do fancy yourself as a bit of a content creator or expert or any kind of thing like that, do hit me up on Twitter and get involved in these videos. So among these 100 FPL experts, what were they all up to in general? Well, 52% of these managers are making just one transfer, 20% are making 2 transfers, quite a lot actually taking -4s as well, which I kind of found interesting. Might be a lot of people taking -4s this week. 1%, just one person, is using 3 transfers. I think they're taking a -8, and I think they even said they might even consider taking a -12, so a real shake up there. But 25% of managers are not using a transfer at all this week, so this is potentially a week where you might want to bank your transfer if you want to. A lot of experts are banking their transfer this week, maybe not 100% sure what to do. And just 2% using their wildcard. I would imagine most by now have already used their wildcard, of course, but yeah, 2% are adding their wildcard to the spice of Game Week 9, I suppose. So yeah, let's have a look at the casual moves before we look at the expert moves. Come on. So these are the stats from the official FPL website. Who are the most popular transfer in this game week? And we're going to try and compare them and see whether these align with the experts. And I can tell you guys, there is some alignment, but there is some very much not alignment. So, who are the most popular players to be bring in amongst all FPL players? Well, Vardy, Chilwell, and Townsend are still in there. I see the casuals' obsession with Townsend, if you like, is still going for some reason, even though he blanked last week. But I guess it's kind of interesting. We've got Salah, Azpilicueta, Cancelo, a lot of Chelsea players in there. You kind of expect as they're about to play Norwich. We've got a couple of Man City players in there as well, Cancelo, Bernardo, and yeah, as usual, it's usually the players who scored the most points last week who will make the list for the most popular transfers in amongst all among casual players. But yeah, Vardy's really interesting there, top of the list, as is a few others of these players as well. But if we want to compare which of these players you see on screen, which of them are aligning with our experts' favourite picks, well, Vardy, Chilwell, Lukaku, Son and Tony, these were all transferred in fairly substantially by our 100 experts as well. So these ones are bang on. These ones are looking like good transfers. You can kind of understand why Vardy has been a little bit consistent now, hasn't he? So I think a lot of people are appreciating the consistency that Vardy is showing. Chilwell obviously had 2 cracking scores in a row. Lukaku with the game against Norwich, a lot of people are probably going to want to captain him. We'll find out later on in the video just how many people are captaining Lukaku. We've got Son there and Tony as well. But if we look at the other hand, there are some players on this list, quite a lot of players actually on this list, 4 who not a single one of our 100 experts are transferring in this week. And those players are Townsend, Mendy, Bernardo and Tielemans. Now, Townsend is again what I've been kind of saying for a couple of weeks. Townsend is a kind of a strange transfer in. I'm not really all behind it, but it just seems like he's so popular. It was the most popular transfer in last game week, the 3rd most popular transfer in this game week. Why are people so obsessed with bringing in Andros Townsend? It really is bizarre. I'm not saying that he's a bad player or a bad pick, but is he so good that this many people want to bring him in? Doesn't fully make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to our experts either. None out of any of the 100 experts are bringing in Townsend this week at all. I wouldn't really be considering it either. I will say on Mendy, experts, really good experienced FPL managers typically don't use transfers on goalkeepers, so that's why Mendy didn't feature. But, you know, it occasionally happens, but not very often. And then Bernardo, I don't know, I think maybe it's a little bit of a knee-jerk for people bringing in Bernardo. And Tielemans, yeah, just not really a good FPL player in general, really. So perhaps that's why those guys are not getting a shout. Salah, it wasn't transferred in by any of our experts. That's because they all have Salah anyway, so I'm definitely not going to highlight that as a bad pick. Azpilicueta and Cancelo, you know, kind of transferred in by one person, so not really a really popular picks among experts by any stretch of the imaginations, but that's not to say they're bad ones either. So here we have the most popular transfers out among our 100 experts, and this is where things get interesting. So when we look at these lists from here on in the video, this is kind of what I like to call my kind of watch lists in a way. I find this really useful. I'm sure a lot of you guys find this really useful as well. But when I look through these players, I kind of look through these players and think, do I have any of these players? And if so, maybe do I need to think about removing them? So thankfully, I don't think I have... Okay, I have one of these players, or two of these players on this entire list, so I'm good. But if you guys have a few of these players, particularly players higher up on the list, these are going to be your targets of who you want to remove. So target number one to remove from your team is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. So out of the 73, out of 100 experts, 73 of them made at least one transfer. You know, obviously we've got wild carders and the people who are not making transfers, but out of the 73 who were making transfers, almost half of them are taking out Ronaldo this week. So that is really, really significant. Aside from that, we've kind of got Jota there fairly high up. We're kind of expecting him to be rotated a lot with Firmino, as well as Liverpool's fixtures kind of not looking so good now. Saka's got this injury. Benrahma's been a little bit disappointed, and West Ham's fixtures aren't exactly amazing. We've got Sarr at Watford. His fixtures are going down the drain as well. People like Shaw and Alonso. Shaw, obviously, it's just been disappointing constantly, really, in terms of Manchester United's defence. And Alonso, we're expecting him to drop out the team and be not play as much football as Chilwell comes in. And then there's a couple of other players in there, you know, that I'm not going to say they're necessarily random, but there's a little bit of a mix in there, slightly lower down the list of players you probably don't have. It's probably noteworthy having a look at Antonio there. 3 out of our 73 managers making transfers have actually are planning on removing Antonio. And like I kind of said in yesterday's video, I probably wouldn't recommend personally taking out Antonio. I do think you give him this game against Tottenham, but of those 3, I think 2 of them were you taking out Antonio for a very specific transfer move to get Jamie Vardy in. So it's kind of a little bit more understandable. If you're just taking out Antonio for the sake of it, just for, as you know, make a sideways transfer, seems a bit silly. But if you are going for a player you really, really want, such as Jamie Vardy or someone like that, or Lukaku or whoever else, Timo Werner maybe, yeah, okay, that's where you kind of understand you taking out Antonio. But if you're just taking him out to go for, you know, Callum Wilson or Jimenez or Tony or someone like that, maybe just save it one more week and give Antonio one more week against this Spurs fixture, I would say. But yeah, I just want to caveat that because Antonio might kind of ring some alarm bells, raise some red flags for you guys. But yeah. Anyway, you've seen the players who are most popular transferred out for 100 experts, but who is being transferred in by those in the know? Well, guys, you probably didn't see this one coming. Bryan Mbeumo, 27 out of 73, miles ahead of most of these players. I guess Lukaku is pretty high up there as well in terms of the priority transfers in. There's a slightly tighter group of players who are being brought in. But again, this, guys, is your transfer list for this game week. This is your targets list for the game week. Yeah, that's kind of what I think this should be used as anyway. But yeah, Mbeumo not even showing at all on the list of the most popular transfers in amongst all players. So casual players don't even know who Mbeumo is. So guys, if you don't have Mbeumo in already, you have this knowledge that puts you so far ahead of your casual friends. I know a lot of you guys are targeting good placements in your mini leagues. Going for someone like Mbeumo before any of these people in your mini league, your mates who don't really follow fantasy football so closely, they don't even know who Mbeumo is. They don't know how good his underlying stats are. They don't know how many times it's hitting the post. They don't know how good his fixtures are about to be. They don't know that he is actually the main attacker and not Tony. People don't know that in general. So you guys are at such a huge advantage. Just just by knowing this information. And that's why so many people in the know are going for Mbeumo this week. He is a fantastic shout. I kind of said on yesterday's video, Mbeumo's fixture swing doesn't start next week. A lot of people think it starts next game week. It doesn't. It starts right now. Leicester are letting in so many shots go their way. They are second most shots conceded in the Premier League so far this season. They've got the second most shots in the box conceded in the Premier League this season. I think they are 16th, so that's what sort of fifth bottom in terms of expected goals conceded so far this season. So Leicester, I think they've also conceded 6 goals in the last 3 games, 2 goals in each game. Crazy. They're not doing well defensively at all. So we can target them a little bit with our transfer. So yeah, enough on Mbeumo. I've spoken about him enough over the last, probably 2 weeks to be fair, but you guys know the drill by now. Lukaku, another great shout. A lot of people targeting this Norwich game. A lot of people taking out Ronaldo. Who's the obvious replacement? Probably Lukaku is probably going to be your first choice there. So you can take advantage of that Norwich fixture and the good fixtures after that for Lukaku as well. We've got some pretty easy fixtures for Chelsea over the next 3 game weeks, I think. So we've also got Chilwell, no real surprise there. Tony, similar kind of idea as going for Mbeumo, but we're going for Tony instead. Maybe you want to replace a striker. Tony is probably the one. And then some other various players in there. A couple of people bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold, as you can see. I know a lot of people took him out of their teams a couple of weeks ago, maybe regretting that decision now and trying to get him back into their teams. And we've got Timo Werner in there, which probably surprises a lot of you guys, but the underlying stats don't look too bad. Werner, if you look in all competitions, his form has actually been not too bad at all, and there are some indications that maybe Werner is going to play a slightly more prominent role than you might imagine in the upcoming fixtures, which, by the way, are fantastic for Chelsea, as we've already mentioned. So a lot of genuinely, real experienced managers in FPL are seriously considering Werner. So you can laugh at it all you want, and I'm sure you guys will laugh at it, but things do change, and you do have to be adaptable and flexible and not afraid to change your mind and change your perceptions about players. And I think that's what a few people are doing, but yeah, it's still a little bit risky for me personally, but I'm just putting that one out there. So guys, with that all said and done, let's suggest some potential transfers that you guys can make. So first of all, the Mbeumo move, and what we're talking about, really taking out one of Jota, Saka and Benrahma for Mbeumo. Maybe you could include Sarr in this as well if you still have Sarr. But basically, you do want to get Mbeumo in. I really do think that is the case, and our 100 experts do agree with this sentiment. And you've got to figure out how you're going to do it. And I would say, well, I'm not 100% sure these 3 players are the exact players to be removing. Jota and Saka, I do really agree with. This isn't really about my opinion, this video, to be fair, but Jota, Saka, Benrahma, and we'll probably include Sarr in that. Those would be the typical players you would transfer out for Mbeumo if you do want to make that Mbeumo move. Those are probably the players that you guys have in your team right now. You're probably not too happy with those players, and you can replace them with a really nice, cheap midfielder there who is playing out of position and playing as a striker. So you probably like that. But if you already have Mbeumo, or for whatever reason you don't fancy Mbeumo, let's make some other suggestions for you guys. So we've got the Ronaldo Out Move, and the Ronaldo Out Move, if you guys have Ronaldo, that is, you could probably go 2 ways with this. You can either go for Lukaku, which is completely understandable, particularly targeting fixtures, maybe targeting captaincy as well, and that seems a really obvious move, even if you might think Lukaku's out of form. It's a transfer move that's very obvious there for the taking. Maybe if you want to target fixtures over form, very easy to do. If you prefer to go for a player on form over fixtures, player playing very well, Ronaldo to Vardy is a very good option as well. Maybe you already have Lukaku, and you have Ronaldo as well, and you want to remove Ronaldo. And Vardy, it seems really obvious because you can free up a little bit of that money, especially if you're someone who has Salah, Ronaldo and Lukaku in your team. You've got a lot of money tied up in there, and just downgrading Ronaldo to a Vardy is going to free up a decent amount of your budget, which is going to be quite nice for upgrading the rest of your team. But if you're not fancying that Ronaldo move either, if you want to get Chilwell in, Shaw and Alonso seem to be the 2 main players to remove from your team. I know a few of you guys are probably considering removing a player like Diaz or someone for Chilwell. I would not do that. I definitely would not do that. Even Rudiger does look like he is going to be available for this weekend, so I don't even think you would necessarily remove Rudiger for Chilwell. I mean, you could. It's a kind of a risky move, but I guess you could. But Shaw and Alonso would be those players who are, is a much better idea to move to Chilwell. So, time to have a look at those captaincy stats, and this one actually really surprised me. As I was kind of recording the data, Lukaku's percentage was going up and up and up and up. Salah's was kind of slowly behind him, but we've got a situation where, 94% of all of our 100 experts, so 94 out of 100 are going for one of Lukaku or Salah, which kind of suggests to me that there is no third option. It is one or the other. And I say that, you know, obviously I have written down who the other 6 players were that were selected as their captains. They're each at 1%. You know, they are each at 1%, which kind of seems that each of them are equally differential, maybe trying to be different just for the sake of it. I know a lot of people do that, especially in desperate situations, or when people are trying to maybe overthink it, be a little bit too clever. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's definitely a fun way of playing FPL by trying to be clever and trying to predict different things. But yeah, there is a very, very clear situation where we've got 2 sensible captain players to go for. But I did want to show you who the other captain punts, I suppose, were. I did want to show you them to you guys as well, just for fun, because I do think it is fun to go for these punts. But yeah, if you're trying to be a safe, kind of sensible, Lukaku or Salah is going to be the one. I would actually, I do want to quickly say though, a lot of people who were telling me their captain plans, they were kind of saying that it depends on Lukaku's minutes in the Champions League. Now, Chelsea obviously play in the Champions League tonight as I record this video. I have no idea what the Chelsea lineups are. I have no idea who's played what minutes and stuff like that. But Tuchel has come out and kind of said that maybe Lukaku's minutes do need to be managed a little bit. So a few people did say, when I was asking about who they were going to captain, they kind of said, well, I'm going to go for Lukaku as long as he gets some rest midweek. As long as he doesn't play the full 90 minutes, or if he doesn't start in midweek, then, you know, that really helps me wanting to captain him. But if he plays a lot of minutes, I'm not going to go for Lukaku. I'm actually going to change my mind and I'm going to go for Salah. So maybe in that sense, Lukaku and Salah are probably a little bit more even than you think. And I think by the time we actually get to the Game Week 9 deadline, it's going to be pretty close between Lukaku and Salah in terms of who is going to be the most popular captain there. I really do think that's the case. But like I said, those are the 2 sensible options. You've got Lukaku with the amazing fixture against Norwich, but perhaps not the best form. We've got Salah, who is in the form of his entire career, playing against a Manchester United team who, you know, have actually been kind of disappointing recently. Conceded 4 goals last game week. I don't know if it's going to be the same situation this game week, because I know they had a few players missing. But yeah, still very interesting. And, you know, I would definitely be tempted by either one of these 2 captains. And certainly if you want to play it safe, I would not be looking outside of Lukaku and Salah. But, you know, if you fancy one of the other Chelsea boys or someone else, then, you know, I mean, crack on. It's good fun. You know, let me know as well in the comments if you're going for someone other than Lukaku and Salah, because I'd be quite interested to see what kind of differentials you guys are coming up with as well. But there we have it, guys. That is the end of the video. I hope you did find it useful. I always find this video useful to make every single week, so I'm hoping it's kind of useful for you guys too. Of course, if you did enjoy, please do leave a like. It's massively appreciated and it really helps out the channel. And of course, do subscribe if you're new around here as well. 100,000 subscribers cannot come soon enough. I'm just so desperate to hit that goal. I really, really am. You know, I can just retire then, you know. I won't, but still. But anyway, guys, we've got my team selection video to come tomorrow, and I don't think there's going to be another video because we've got a Friday kickoff. I'm going to do a deadline stream on Friday, but yeah, there'll be a video tomorrow and then no video on Friday, but we will do a deadline stream on Friday. So yeah, 1 more video and 1 stream left this game week. So hopefully we can cover everything that's remaining over the next couple of days. That would be good, wouldn't it? But yes, guys, thank you so much for watching again, and I suppose I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.